So I have a big news for you guys. We are moving our kitchen from Houston to here in the Philippines. But for now, for this video, I'm going to share with you how we traveled halfway across the globe in the middle of pandemic. COVID-19 had really changed our lives in so many ways. I know that a lot of you are affected as well. So I'm hoping that this video will help out to those people who are planning to travel anytime soon, or maybe at this time, or it could be later. There are just a lot of information that you need to know before you travel. I hope you find this video helpful in one way or another, because it's not easy. It's not easy to travel with all the documents that you have to go through, with all the tests that you have to go through. So on this video, I'm going to break it down into 2 episodes, from Houston to Manila. I'm going to be using the GoPro 8, and I'm recording it on a neck mount, where I use this on my neck, just like this, like that. It was awesome. I wasn't feeling very invasive recording with others during the travel. It's just so convenient that it's there, because you don't even notice it. And sometimes I forgot that I'm recording, and sometimes I forget to press the record. So GoPro. So here, come travel with me. So we are finally happy to leave this bustling city to a small city back home. So here we are on the way to the airport. As usual, traffic is really like this. At this point, we can't wait to be home, to live in a smaller city, an island vibe kind of thing, where, you know, not so stressful, less complicated. So this is the normal Houston vibe, that we have to say goodbye and hello to peaceful island lifestyle. With all the current COVID situation, this is not really helping to be away from families and friends. So we just arrived in the Houston airport, the George W. Bush Intercontinental Airport, and we are flying United Airlines from Houston to Los Angeles. So here we are checking in our luggages. It's self-check-in, so you can do it yourself. There is somebody there to help you if you need, but everything else is self-explanatory. You can do it yourself. I noticed though that there's not a lot of people in the airport, and here in this area, this is a check-in area. It's a little bit crowded. This is the only place that has a lot of people. Otherwise, in other parts of the airport, it is a little bit empty. It's not as busy as usual. As you can see, There are airport staffs here and there, but other than that, all the queue lines are a little bit empty. The usual Houston airport is usually very, very crowded, especially in the check-in area like this. It used to be full of people checking in. We are just putting back the trolley that we used for our luggages. Then we are proceeding to the immigration. Then after, we could probably look for a place to have a drink and hang out, charge our phones, charge our gadgets before the flight. So here we are, just chilling, having a drink. And I noticed also that there are no more waiters and waitresses coming to you to take your orders. You can place your order right here in this tablet, and you can also pay. Then they will just deliver your food. So there's less contact between the waiters or waitresses to the customers that way. Also, as you can see, the airport is not so busy. It's not that empty, but there are travelers as well. I think at this time, no one really want to travel unless necessary. I don't think it's worth going through the hustle and bustle of traveling these days with all the health protocols that are in place. And for us, we don't have any choice, but we have to do it. So here we are. So we arrived in Los Angeles Airport. I haven't recorded anything from the plane from Houston to Los Angeles, but here we are going through the immigration, and look how empty this is. You won't believe this. And this is a very rare scenario. I don't think that happened before COVID. And look at here. This is pretty empty. I think almost all of the shops are closed. There are only a few food stalls that you can see, but other than that, everything is closed. Your favorite shops, the Burberry, the Louis Vuitton, and other big names out there are closed. So, and look, this is the dining area where you're supposed to, of course, eat there, but they put the chairs up, as you can see, so there's no way you can get chairs to sit and eat your food. We tried to look around, but most of them are really tied up. It's either under the table or over the table, but then we are lucky to find one Mexican restaurant that serves really good margarita. So we ordered some margarita, of course, and some nachos, and what else? We took a couple of sets that they had. So, but there's nowhere we could eat properly sitting down with a chair and a table. So we look around, and there is only one place where you can sit and eat, and it's not really a dining area, but instead it's like a lounge where you can sit around. But yeah, we managed. There is a small table. They are sitting on the floor, and I'm on one of the couches. So yeah, the food was good, even if we feel like we're not eating properly, but we were so hungry. So look at that. All those tables are not usable. So that's the dining area supposed to be. Anyway, there's nothing much to complain about, but that's the situation. So here we are on board Philippine Airlines flying Los Angeles to Manila. Well, as you can see, there's a big difference of the crew attire, that they used to have nice uniforms and looking good all the time, but now they are wrapped in PPEs for their protection and covered with a face shield, of course, and mask. And everybody has to wear face shield and mask all the time, unless if you are eating, of course. But after that, you have to put it back on as mandated. If you don't have any face shield, the airline will provide you with one, so there's no worry about that. That's me being kinky. I was so happy to be on board this flight. It's a step closer to home. We have been through a lot this time, so I can't wait to be home. can't tell you, I was feeling relieved on board this flight. As you can see, the plane is full. This flight is full packed to the Philippines, and there is no way that you can social distance from each other. So I highly recommend to use the N95 mask whenever you cannot social distance from each other. So we shift from the ordinary mask, the surgical mask, to N95 masks whenever we cannot social distance from each other on those situations, because it's just too uncomfortable to wear all the time. So we use it only in places where we cannot social distance from other people. It just makes sense. I just feel a little bit safer. Keeping in mind that we have to stay negative on the tests in Manila, and also the test back home upon arrival. So we just landed. We just arrived in Ninoy Aquino International Airport, and we are directed to a certain area where we can do the test, and they are going to check your QR code that you have prepared 3 days before the flight. So that's worth to note. You should do that in advance to avoid any delay on your travel. So here we are directed to pay our test, and as you can see as well, there are task force around to help you, to guide you where to go, and to keep everything flowing smoothly. So here we are directed to a booth where they can scan your QR code, and I think it's for tracing purposes and verification. Then after paying, you will be directed to the testing area. Okay, so this was a little bit painful. It was not that painful that it disturbs you, but it just feels a little bit weird getting your nose swabbed. It's a weird process, but it's not really that painful, but it's not very comfortable. It's a very weird feeling, but it's hard to describe. But there was probably a little bit of psychological, a lot of horror stories I've heard about swabbing for COVID-19. But overall, they executed it very well. Even my daughter, didn't cry, so must not be painful. So of course they will verify your passport first, and they put a sticker to your passport which you have to present before they perform the test. So here it is, here it is. Did you see that long swab that he's holding? He's gonna put it in my nose, at the back of my nose, and further in. So I wasn't able to capture this thing because I was really scared. So, well, it's done. It's fine. Yeah, I was a little bit teary, but not that painful though. So after that nose swab, there's another swab, but it will go through your throat. I was like, okay, open your mouth, There you go. It was quick though, so not complaining. They give you a sticker after they perform the test. And yes, I'm done. Yes! I'm so happy. And Bruno's still doing his, and Layla as well. So there goes my girl. Brave little one. Come on, baby, you can do this. I am so proud watching this. She didn't even complain. Well, we have gone through the immigration and made our way to the hotel. So this is the checking in the quarantine hotel. There are designated quarantine hotels in Manila that you can choose. So upon booking your air tickets in Philippine Airlines, you are required to choose a quarantine hotel where you can stay there are designated quarantine hotels in their website that you can choose from. So we choose this one. It's called Mini Suites in Eaton Tower, which was average. Couldn't complain. Basic needs are there. The layout of the room is just a little bit weird, but other than that, we survived one night. You are required to stay in a quarantine hotel until you get your negative result, and then you can check out from this hotel and probably transfer to another hotel after you get your negative result. Other than that, I couldn't speak for those who got positive results. So you better stay negative, all right? COVID free. So finally, we are so happy to settle in this hotel, and we will wait for our results. So our tests were taken around 4 a.m. and we got the results around 6 p.m. So it was pretty quick. And then after getting your negative results, you can proceed with getting your certificate of quarantine from Bureau of Quarantine. So this is our quarantine hotel, Mini Suites Eaton Tower. And hey, look, we're gonna peek outside what it's look like in the hallway with all the quarantined passengers. So that's how it looks like. There's a chair where they can put your food orders or any form that you're going to fill up. So that's the situation. They will knock on your door and they'll put everything on that chair, and that's it. I think that's to avoid contacts. Okay guys, so that was the first leg of the travel, and that is just traveling to Manila. So the next episode will be traveling from Manila to Dumaguete, which is the local flight, and it's gonna be interesting though, so stay tuned. But before I have taken down notes on what you have to prepare before traveling. So make sure before you travel, you let them know that you're coming, send them an email, get in the loop of communication, and ask around what you need to prepare, what you need to do. I mean, some other provinces doesn't require a 14-day quarantine, but here in Dumaguete they require upon arrival. So you're not allowed to go home directly to your family, but you have to quarantine yourself for 14 days. So that's the current situation right now, and I don't know, I cannot speak for other provinces because they have different health protocols in place as well. So yeah, it's a long travel to be here, and we don't want to do it again. We don't want to do it again. We've been through hell. So alright guys, see you in the next episode. It's going to be very, very interesting. The local flights, it's more challenging, but yeah, it's the way to go. The law is the law. It's not only for ourselves, but also for the safety of everybody. So yeah, here we are, 6th day. Long way to go. And this is, by the way, our quarantine hotel. It's One Bethany, and we are on the upper level. This is the view that we got. We are lucky that we get the room next to the balcony. But other than that, it's a quarantine hotel. Nothing fancy. So for this episode, we're gonna show you what it's like to travel across the globe. What it's like to travel across. What it's like to travel across the globe. What it's like to travel across the globe in the middle of pandemic.